So there's a third factor, or a third protein, which is the rhesus factor. Rhesus, of course, it's named after because it's the monkey. It's a small primate, very angry sort of primate. So this protein is shared by humans and the rhesus monkey. So in other words, if you're a blood type A, you have two types. If you have the rhesus protein that's displayed, so normally a red blood cell will just display the A protein, but if you have the rhesus protein gene, your body will also put onto the membrane the Rh. So therefore, you are known as A positive. Of course, the A negative type will just have the alpha protein on it. So therefore, you can have B positive, which means you have both B proteins and the Rh protein. If you're B negative, you just have the B proteins on the membrane. If you're the AB blood type, it can be AB positive or AB negative, which means you have alpha and beta and Rh at the same time. AB negative means that you just have alphas and betas, alphas and betas. And if you're blood type O, it can be either O positive or O negative, which means Rh is found on the membrane and O positive, no other proteins. And if you're O negative, nothing exists on your membrane. So why is this a problem? From your Bio 1 days, you should understand Rh, again, is a protein. So in order to express this protein, you must have a Rh gene. So a person who is Rh positive will have the Rh gene. A person who is Rh negative has no Rh gene. So if these people got together and created an offspring, because one person will give you the gene, the other person does not give you the gene, and we always know that you are given one gene from your parent and the other gene from your other parent, this child will be Rh positive in one chromosome and Rh negative in another chromosome, which means when they express their red blood cell, they will always be Rh positive. So when is this a serious problem? It's a serious problem when the Rh happens to be your mother and the Rh happens to be the father, which means this child will always be Rh positive. So under the first pregnancy, the mother will have a child who is Rh positive in the womb. So the blood is separated by the placenta. So the placenta separates the two blood, so even though there's a mismatch between the child's blood in the antigen like A and B, it usually does not mix. And of course, if it has an Rh, that won't mix. So the child is not really a problem under the first pregnancy. So the mother does not know the child's blood type, and the child does not understand the mother's blood type here. So again, this is the child's blood type. The mother happens to be Rh negative. So what happens then? At the time of birth, eventually the placenta will break. When the placenta breaks, the child is delivered very happy, who is Rh positive child, and will grow up perfectly normal as an Rh positive child. But the mother is now introduced as the blood rip has occurred. She is now introduced to the Rh positive blood type. So then the mother will undergo over time, and the mother will start to produce Rh antibodies. So if she produces Rh antibodies and she has a second child, and the placenta rips either prematurely or at birth, the mother's blood will enter into the child. The mother's blood from her first pregnancy is now sensitized to Rh proteins and now carries the antibodies for Rh. So when the antibody for Rh enters the child, the child is born normally within the first couple of minutes, and inside the body of the child is circulating antibody for Rh. When it circulates, it will bind all the red blood cells because the red blood cells are Rh positive, and it will cause an antibody antigen reaction and blood clots form, and unfortunately, the child will not be able to overcome and they will turn blue because lack of oxygen flowing and therefore will die. We call it one of the first blue baby syndromes.